Hi everyone, welcome to Webology Learn for Good. I'm Aakash Biswas and let's begin JavaScript tutorial 8. So in this tutorial we're going to look at objects. Now how well you understand the concept of objects and how well you apply them and use them and create your own objects will define you as a good JavaScript developer or an average JavaScript developer. So I'm sure you don't want to be an average JavaScript developer. You want to be the best, you want to be just not good, the best JavaScript developer. And for that you need to really understand the concept of objects, because JavaScript is an object-oriented programming language. Now without further wasting your time, let's dive straight in. So objects are like variables. They can hold values, but objects can contain many values. So this is the advantage of objects. They are like variables, but unlike a variable, they can hold multiple values. The values are written as name, value, base, which are separated by a colon. An object is a collection of named values. The named values are called properties. So this is a very important concept in objects. Okay, properties. Methods are actions that can be performed on objects. Okay, so methods are also an important concept in objects. Object properties can be both primitive values, other objects, and functions. An object method is an object property containing a function definition. Okay. In JavaScript, you can define and create your own objects. And how do you do that? Well, there are different ways to create new objects. One, define and create a single object using an object literal. Okay. Two, define and create a single object with the keyword new. Three, define an object constructor and then create objects of the constructor type. Okay, we are going to look at each of them in detail later. Using an object literal to create an object, we will both define and create an object in one statement. So that's the advantage of using an object literal, so that you can create and define the object in just a single sentence. An object literal is a list of name value pairs. So here's an example of a object name Aakash. Inside curly braces, we'll create an object. Okay, spaces and line breaks are not important. They're not. An object definition can span multiple lines as well. Objects are mutable, means they can change. They are addressed by references and not by value. JavaScript properties. Properties are the values associated with a JavaScript object. Okay, as I've told you, properties is a very important concept in JavaScript. A JavaScript object is a collection of unordered properties. Properties can be changed, added, and deleted, but some are read-only. Okay. Accessing JavaScript properties. Now how do you do that? To access the property of an object, you can do in three ways. One, object.name property. So this is the syntax. Okay, we're going to look at this later. Two, object name, then brackets property, or three, object expression. Okay. Now the delete keyword deletes a property from an object. Okay, the delete keyword deletes both the value of the property and the property itself. After deleting, the property cannot be used before it is added back again. Okay. The delete operator is designed to be used on object properties, and it has no effect on variables or functions. The delete operator should not be used on predefined JavaScript objects properties. Why? Because there's a warning. It can crash your application. Okay, remember that. If you use a delete operator and use it on not on predefined JavaScript objects, then it will crash your application, and you don't want that, right? So don't do that. Property attributes. Now all properties have a name and they also have a value. Okay, the value is one of the property's attributes. Other attributes are 1, enumerable, 2, configurable, and 3, writable. Okay, these attributes define how the property can be accessed, if it is readable or is it writable. Okay, in JavaScript all attributes can be read, but only the value attribute can be changed, and only if the property is writable. JavaScript methods. Now, what are methods? Well, JavaScript methods are the actions that can be performed on objects. A JavaScript method is a property containing a function definition. Now, we have already seen function, and if you don't know about functions in JavaScript, then you can check out my complete playlist on JavaScript over here and you'll get the concept of functions. Okay, just click the icon over here and the playlist will come. So, to access an object method, you have to use this syntax: object name dot method dot name. Okay, so we're going to look at this later in detail when I give you the demo. Okay, the practical part of objects in JavaScript. So the full name property will execute as a function when it is invoked with the parenthesis. Okay, so this is will invoke as a, if you invoke it with the parenthesis, then it will be executed as a function, because to execute a function you need the parenthesis. Okay, so JavaScript prototypes. Now, what is a prototype? Well, all JavaScript objects inherit the properties and methods from their prototype. Objects created using an object literal or with new object inherit from a prototype called object.prototype. Okay, objects created with new date inherit the date prototype. The object prototype is on the top of the prototype chain. So all JavaScript objects like date, array, regular expression functions, etc. inherit from the object prototype. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how you can create objects in JavaScript, and I'm going to be using a very simple example, and an example that may not make a lot of sense, so don't take my example very seriously. Okay, so let's create our very first object. Now to create our object, you have to declare it as a variable, and how do you do that? You have to use a var keyword. Now my object name is going to be programming language. Okay, so this is a short form for programming and this is a short form for language. Okay, and now I'm going to assign name value pair. So an object, as I mentioned earlier, is a undefined name value pairs. Okay, it's a collection of undefined name value pairs. And how do you make a collection of name value pairs? Well, I'm going to show you right now. So my first programming language will be in web development, and the language that I'm going to assign the name is going to be JS, short for JavaScript. Okay, and my second programming language will be in software, which is going to be C. My third development, which is my favorite, is Android development. Okay, the language is Java. Again, don't take my example too seriously. Just I'm making this example just for the video tutorial purpose. And as you can see over here, if you don't put these curly braces, okay, then this won't be declared as an object, and the name value pair has to be put this way, in this format. And now, what if you want to print the values of your object? How do you do that? Well, you can use a document.write function in order to print the value of a name value pair. Okay, so first you'll have to give the name of the object, okay, which is programming language, then followed by the dot symbol or the period sign, then the name that you want to print. Okay, now I'm going to save this and let's refresh my page. There you see, if I zoom in, it is JS. And why JS? Because the name web dev has a value JS, short for JavaScript. Now, instead of JS, how about printing software? You can see it is C, okay, because software has a value C. But what if our name, okay, is a number? It can be. I can always assign the name as a number. Okay, so here I'll go ahead and do that. I'll put 1 as HTML, and now you want to print the value of this name 1. But suppose I put it in this format as well. Okay, so instead of soft, I'm going to put 1 over here. Okay, now I'll refresh the page and see nothing's come. Why is that? It's because my syntax is wrong. In order to print the value of a name, for numbered name, you'll have to change the syntax a little bit. And what do? You put it in brackets. Okay, so here I go by brackets, then comes the double quotes, then I close the bracket. Okay, now I'll save and refresh. Okay, but still you can see there's still a little problem. The problem is this dot notation, which does not exist. So with this statement, nothing will come. It's an error. Okay, but the moment I remove the dot notation, voila, HTML has come. And why is that? Because the name 1 has a value HTML. Okay, so that's it for this video tutorial. If you like this video, do give a thumbs up to this video, and do let me know in the comment section below what you think about this video. And do share this video if you know someone who's learning HTML, CSS and JavaScript and want to be very good in JavaScript. Recommend my video, give them the link, share them the link, etc. And lastly, do subscribe if you haven't done already. And thanks for watching.